philosophies revived.
Do you ever feel like something's missing? Like, no matter how much you achieve or how hard you try, there's this invisible wall stopping you from being truly free? Well, guess what? You're not alone. From the moment you were born, your mind has been in a tug-of-war with forces you can't even see. And the craziest part? You didn't even know it was happening. But what if I told you that every step of the way, from school to social media, from advertisements to authority figures, you were being molded? Not to thrive, but to comply. Let's uncover the truth about how they control your mind and keep you in chains. The illusion of freedom. We've all heard it, haven't we? You're free to do whatever you want. But are you really free? Think about it. When you think of freedom, you probably imagine being able to make choices based on your own desires, not influenced by anyone or anything. Yet, when you look closely, everything seems a little more controlled. From the moment we wake up in the morning to the second we go to sleep, we're often following a set routine. You wake up to an alarm, rush to work or school, eat at specific times, and follow someone else's rules the entire day. But wait, these aren't just little habits. These are parts of a system that has been subtly created to maintain the illusion of freedom, while ensuring you're actually following a script. The truth is, society, in all its complexities, has been built around making you think you're in control of your life, when in reality, it's just a setup to keep you busy, distracted, and dependent on systems beyond your control. What about your career? You've been sold the dream that if you work hard enough, you can achieve everything you want: wealth, success, and a fulfilling life. But the catch? You work your entire life chasing these ideals, only to realize that even the top positions in society come with invisible chains: debt, taxes, and social pressure. There's always something hanging over you, keeping you from ever truly feeling free. Freedom, in the real sense, is a choice to live on your terms. But the society we live in creates an environment where that's nearly impossible. When you're told you're free, it feels good, right? It gives you hope and motivation. But what if I told you that this kind of freedom is exactly what they want you to believe in? It's an illusion. If you look closer, you'll see that the choices you make, what you buy, what you watch, what you believe, are all being influenced in ways you don't even notice. And it's not a coincidence. The systems we interact with daily, from advertising to school, work to media, have been designed this way to subtly control us. But here's the breakthrough. Awareness is the first step in breaking free. Recognizing that freedom isn't a given, it's something you have to actively claim. The first step in becoming truly free is seeing the illusion for what it is and understanding that freedom is not something that's handed to you. It's something you take for yourself. Schools, factories for compliance. The idea that school is a place where you grow, learn, and expand your potential is drilled into our minds from a young age. You're told that the key to success lies in getting a good education. But what if that wasn't the entire truth? What if schools were never really about liberating minds or nurturing individual growth? Instead, what if schools were designed to mold and control you, preparing you to fit into a system that requires obedience, not critical thinking? From day one, schools shape the way you think. You're taught to follow rules, respect authority, and fit into a rigid structure. Every bell you hear, every class you attend, and every assignment you turn in, all of it is conditioning you. Conditioning you to sit still, to work on someone else's schedule, and to follow instructions without question. Think about it. How often were you rewarded for following the rules? How many times were you punished for questioning them? It's a pattern, isn't it? Schools teach you that compliance is the key to success, and that's exactly what they want. Ever wondered why you spent so much time memorizing facts and regurgitating information rather than learning to think critically or challenge existing ideas? The education system doesn't teach you to ask why or how. It teaches you to accept things as they are. Your worth is tied to how well you can memorize and follow instructions, not to your ability to think for yourself. It's a factory for compliance, not creativity. And then there's the grading system, right? Grades are more than just measures of how much you know, they're measures of how well you comply with the system. You're rewarded for staying in line and punished for stepping out. It's a simple formula. Conform, get a gold star, rebel. Face the consequences. But why does it have to be this way? Why are we trained to see rebellion as something dangerous and non-compliance as a threat to society? Because it keeps you small. It keeps you from questioning the system. And questioning the system, that's exactly what they fear most. Now, let's talk about the deeper implications of this system. If schools were designed to liberate you, to teach you to think for yourself, then why do they funnel you into an endless cycle of standardized testing? These tests are not about evaluating intelligence or knowledge. They're about evaluating how well you can follow instructions and fit into the predetermined mold. The more you conform, the more you advance. It's not about freedom, it's about conditioning. So, what's the solution? Start by recognizing the system for what it is. Schools are factories for conformity. They're not there to help you find yourself. They're there to help you fit in. But once you see this, once you understand the game, you can start to break free. Critical thinking, creativity, and individuality aren't just optional. They're essential to reclaiming your freedom. And that's where the real learning begins. The media's grip on your mind. Let's talk about another powerful tool of control, the media. We're bombarded daily by the stories we watch, the advertisements we see, and the news we read. The media isn't just there to inform us, it's there to shape us. The stories told in movies, TV shows, and news programs are carefully constructed to mold your beliefs, influence your behavior, and keep you trapped in the narrative they've created. Think about the heroes in movies. They're often portrayed as rule followers, brave, yes, but never questioning the system they serve. The villains, on the other hand, are always the ones who challenge authority, ask uncomfortable questions, and disrupt the status quo. This isn't just storytelling, it's programming. The media constantly reinforces the idea that those who question the system are dangerous or untrustworthy. By doing this, they've successfully conditioned generations to accept the rules without ever questioning them. Take a moment to reflect on your favorite movies or TV shows. How many of them feature heroes who challenge the system or rebel against societal norms? Not many, right? That's because the system doesn't want you to question it. It wants you to obey. The stories we consume are designed to normalize conformity and discourage rebellion. We're conditioned to view those who fight for change as dangerous, rebellious, or out of touch with reality. And in doing so, we're silenced. We stop questioning, stop challenging, and start obeying. But that's just the start. The media also plays a significant role in shaping what we desire. Think about the constant advertisements for the latest gadgets, clothes, cars, and beauty products. What's the message? You're not enough unless you buy this. You won't be happy unless you own that. You need this to fit in, to be accepted, to feel worthy. But when was the last time a purchase truly fulfilled you? The truth is, the more you buy, the more they profit and the less you feel free. The media's control goes deeper than what we see on the surface. It shapes how we perceive the world, what we think is important, and what we believe is possible. It creates a narrative that benefits the system, keeping us distracted and obsessed with things that don't really matter. But once you see through this facade, you can break free. You can start choosing what you consume based on your values, not on the system's agenda. The chains of consumerism. Let's face it, consumerism runs the show. From the moment we're old enough to understand the difference between needs and wants, we're trained to think we need more. The latest gadgets, the newest clothes, the next big thing. It's all part of a cycle designed to keep you wanting more, spending more, and ultimately feeling less. This isn't just about buying stuff. It's about controlling your desires and keeping you in a constant state of wanting. Think about it. How many times have you bought something thinking it would make you happy, only to feel empty once the novelty wore off? It's a trick, a manipulation of your desires to keep you coming back for more. And it doesn't stop with just material goods. You're told that happiness is found in possessions, status, and appearance. The more you have, the more you're worth. But what happens when the thrill of the new item fades away? You go after the next one, and the cycle continues. This is consumerism at its finest. It makes you believe that owning more will bring you fulfillment, when in fact, it only leaves you craving more. And the system knows it. The companies that profit from this cycle use every tactic they can to ensure you keep buying, keep desiring, and keep feeding the machine. Advertisements, social media, celebrities, they all contribute to the narrative that you aren't enough unless you buy, unless you consume. But here's the thing, this is exactly how they control you. When you're constantly chasing things outside of yourself, you lose sight of what really matters. You lose connection to your inner self, and instead, you rely on external validation to feel worthy. This is a dangerous place to be, because no matter how much you buy or achieve, you'll never feel truly satisfied. Why? Because the satisfaction you seek is a lie. It doesn't come from things, it comes from within. Breaking free from this cycle starts with awareness. Once you recognize how consumerism is controlling you, you can start to make conscious choices. Choose experiences over things. Choose connection over consumption. Choose fulfillment over fleeting pleasure. This is how you reclaim your freedom. By rejecting the system of consumerism, you can start to live authentically, on your own terms. And that's where real freedom begins. The fear of standing out. Why is it that so many of us choose the safe, predictable path, rather than venturing into the unknown? It's a question that's as old as time itself. But the answer, while complex, is rooted in one simple truth: fear. Fear is one of the most powerful tools used to keep you in line, to make sure you don't stray too far from the beaten path. It's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of being seen as different. And guess what? These fears have been planted in your mind from the very beginning. Think about it. From a young age, we're taught that standing out, challenging the status quo, or taking risks is something to be afraid of. School teaches us to follow the rules, not to question them. Society tells us that we must conform to the expectations of others in order to be accepted. And when you step out of line, whether it's in school, at work, or even in social settings, there's often a consequence: ridicule, isolation, or even punishment. This conditioning starts when you're a child, and it follows you well into adulthood. The message is clear: don't rock the boat. But here's the twist: that fear isn't yours. It was put there by a system that needs you to stay in line in order to maintain control. Fear of failure keeps you from taking risks. Fear of rejection keeps you from speaking your truth. Fear of standing out keeps you from becoming the unique individual you were born to be. The system has made sure that these fears are ingrained in your psyche, and they've done it so well that you've come to accept them as natural. Now, let's take a step back. If you can recognize that these fears were planted there for a reason, you can start to deconstruct them. Start by questioning them. What am I afraid of, really? What's the worst that could happen if I take that risk, speak up, or dare to be different? The truth is, the biggest obstacle to your freedom isn't the system itself. It's your own fear of breaking free from it. And once you see that, once you realize that fear is just a tool for keeping you small, you'll find that the chains are weaker than they seem. In fact, stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the most powerful ways to start reclaiming your freedom. It's not easy, and it may take time, but every small act of defiance against the system, every time you break free from the fear they've implanted in you, is a victory. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to start. And when you begin to see that standing out isn't dangerous, it's empowering, you'll start to break free from the invisible chains that have held you back for so long. Breaking the chains. So now that we've explored how the system has been controlling us through fear, consumerism, media, and the education system, how do we break free from it? The answer lies in awareness. Awareness is the key to reclaiming your autonomy and breaking the chains that have kept you small for so long. The first step to breaking free is recognizing that you've been conditioned. You need to see the cage for what it is before you can escape it. Once you're aware of how the system has shaped your thoughts, your desires, and your behavior, you can begin to challenge it. This starts by questioning everything. Yes, everything. Why do you believe what you believe? Who benefits from those beliefs? Are they truly yours, or were they handed down to you by someone else? Once you start tracing the origins of your thoughts and beliefs, you'll begin to see that many of them weren't chosen by you at all. They were implanted by the system to keep you compliant and obedient. Take a moment to reflect on the things you've been taught to value. For example, success is often equated with wealth, status, and power. But why? Is that really the true measure of success? Or is it a narrative created by the system to make you strive for things that are ultimately hollow? Success, when defined by the system, becomes a never-ending cycle of chasing more money, more possessions, more recognition. But in reality, true success is about living authentically, pursuing your passions, and aligning your life with your core values. The moment you begin to question the system, to see through its illusions, is the moment you take the first step toward freedom. But here's the catch: breaking free isn't easy. It's not about making a grand gesture or taking one huge leap. It's about consistently choosing to break the rules, even in small ways. It's about reclaiming your power every time you choose authenticity over conformity, independence over dependence, and truth over comfort. Breaking free is a process, it's a journey, not a destination. It won't happen overnight, but each small step you take is a victory. It's about reprogramming your mind and redefining your life on your own terms. And the best part? You don't have to do it alone. Once you start, you'll find that others are on the same path, ready to support and challenge you. And together, you can create a world that values authenticity, creativity, and freedom. The power of connection. One of the most powerful aspects of breaking free from the system is realizing that you're not alone. The system works hard to isolate us, to make us feel like we're the only ones who are struggling, who are questioning, who are challenging the status quo. But the truth is, we're all in this together. The more you start to see the system for what it is, the more you'll realize that others are waking up to the same truth. And that's where real power lies, in connection. The system thrives on division. It wants you to believe that you're isolated, that you're the only one questioning the world around you. But the truth is, there are millions of people who are starting to see through the illusion. When you connect with others who are on the same path, you amplify your power. You realize that you're not fighting this battle alone. There's strength in numbers. When individuals unite, they become unstoppable. Building a network of like-minded people is crucial for breaking free. These people will challenge you, support you, and push you to grow in ways you never imagined. Whether it's through online communities, social movements, or local meetups, the key is to surround yourself with others who are committed to living authentically and questioning the status quo. Together, you can create a force of change that the system can't ignore. But connection isn't just about finding people who think like you. It's about creating spaces where people can think for themselves. It's about fostering environments that encourage critical thinking, creativity, and authenticity. When you start engaging in deep, meaningful conversations with others, you'll start to see that the system's grip on you loosens. You'll be inspired by the perspectives of others, and you'll begin to realize that there's power in collective action. The system fears connection. It thrives on keeping people divided and isolated. But when you break free from that isolation and connect with others, you form a collective power that can change the world. It's not about rebellion, it's about transformation. And transformation starts with connection, the revolution within. The most powerful revolution doesn't start out there in the streets or in the halls of power, it starts within. The system may have shaped your thoughts, your desires, and your actions, but it doesn't own you. The revolution begins when you decide to take control of your own mind, your own life, and your own purpose. Reclaiming your freedom isn't just about tearing down the systems of control. It's about rebuilding yourself. It's about stripping away the conditioning and rediscovering who you truly are beneath the layers of programming. It's about aligning your life with your values, not the values imposed on you by society. This revolution isn't about overthrowing governments or corporations. It's about overthrowing the beliefs and fears that have kept you trapped in the system for so long. It's about seeing through the lies, questioning the narrative, and choosing to live authentically. Once you realize that you have the power to shape your own reality, you'll understand that true freedom is not something given to you by the system. It's something you take for yourself. And here's the most empowering part: you don't need permission to break free. The system wants you to believe that freedom is something you have to earn or fight for. But the truth is, freedom is something you already have. It's just been buried under layers of conditioning. To reclaim it, you simply need to decide to live authentically, to trust yourself, and to break free from the patterns that have kept you small. This revolution starts with you, but it doesn't end with you. When you start living authentically, you inspire others to do the same. The more people wake up, the more the system loses its grip on us. And when enough people awaken, that's when real change begins. But it starts here, within yourself. Are you ready to begin the revolution? The choice is yours. So, are you ready to break free? The choice is yours. Will you stay quiet, or will you take the leap? If this message resonated with you, drop a comment below saying, "I'm breaking free." Together, let's show the system that silence is no longer an option. This is your moment. The world is waiting for the real you. Let's do this.